Okay, so that video went a little longer than it normally does. But anyway, so I need to finish the last two here. Use your graphing calculator to solve these systems. Okay, so just if you've never done this before, first off, turn on your calculators. Okay, and I get this a little higher so you can see the buttons I'm pushing. So right now I just turned it on, and if you want to graph, you need to push the y equals. Okay, that's where you're going to tell it what your equations are. So it says y equals, and in order to put it in the calculator, y has to be by itself. Okay, so I'm going to type in that first one. So 2, the variable button you want to use, let's get that up a little bit. This guy right here, this is your variable button. That's how you get X on there quickly. So I'm just going to push this button. I know there's a whole bunch of alphabet letters, like the green letters. Don't use those. Okay, we want to use this button. That's a variable button. Okay, so 2x plus 3. Hit enter, get the next one, and now I need x squared. So I'm going to push x again. Okay, and speed this up a little bit. If I want the squared button, that's this button right here. Okay, so it says x squared. Push that button, and it should pop up like this. So x squared minus 2x minus 1. And I've got everything I want. There's my system in here, and then I'm going to push to graph, and I'm going to push graph. So graph. And if your screen, my screen looks weird, there's no crosshairs there, there's no Cartesian plane, and what's going on here is I must have zoomed in at some point on something else. So the fastest way, this is like the quickest way to get back to your normal screen, normal that with the origin in the middle, is to push zoom, and then number 6. But you can push the number 6 or scroll down to 6 and hit enter. That's up to you. So zoom standard, that puts the crosshairs right in the middle. There's my first line. There should be a U shape showing up here. There's a U shape, and if you notice, there are 2 solutions to this. There's 2 places where these are going to meet. So the first one, just to kind of make it simple here, I can let the calculator find that, because if I zoom in here a whole bunch, that's not on a perfect square. It's not 2 whole numbers. It's going to be 2 decimal numbers. So you may want to, when you're watching the video, just take one turn, just write down the steps, and then the next time, rewind it and play it again. So the steps are, so on this one, you're going to push second. This little arrow popped up here. That means I'm picking the second functions of the buttons. So like right now, the first function is trace. The second function is calc. I want to calculate. So second, calc. And I want to know where these 2 lines intersect. So I'm going to select number 5. Hit enter. It's going to ask you some questions. The first question is, which curves are you talking about? It sounds silly because we only have 2 curves on the screen, but that's the 2 I want. So the first curve, I'm just going to push enter because it's on the blue line. So yes, that's one of the curves. Then it says, is the second curve this red one? Yes. Hit enter. And it seems silly, but it's asking for a guess. And the reason why it's asking for a guess is because it can only give you one answer at a time. And on this one, there's 2 answers. So get the cursor closer to the answer you want. So I'm going to find this one first. I'm going to get kind of close, hit enter. And if you notice, there's my x value, there's my y value. So negative 0.828 and 1.343. Okay. Now I want to find the other one because there's a second solution here. It's going to curve back around, hit it twice. So I'm going to go second, calc, just repeat the same steps you just did. Intersect. First curve, I'm on the blue curve, yes. Red curve is my second curve, yes. Now I need to get my cursor closer to this other intersection, which happens to be off the graph. I'm pretty close though. So hit enter, and it popped up at the bottom there, 4.828, comma, 12.657. Okay, so there's my 2 solutions. Okay, now let's go to the other guy. I'm gonna pause the video and type it in. I want you to practice typing this in on your own. Okay, so I've got them typed in here, and I'm gonna push graph, and I already hit graph once, but it has a straight line and it has a curve. Notice they don't touch. And this straight line would keep going to the left. This curve would never catch up to it. So if they don't meet, then the answer to this, you either say no solution or inconsistent. It's up to you how, which one you want to choose, but no solution, inconsistent. Okay. So there is the rest of Unit 1, Day 1.